An original member of Motown Records' first vocal group, The Miracles, he then turned solo artist. He also served as the company's vice president from 1961 to 1989. Elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, he was a prolific songwriter, credited with 4,000 songs and 37 top 40 hits. Wow! He's the Groove Master! And a beautiful pair of eyes, Smokey Robinson.
I didn't know whose name he was getting ready to say when he did that introduction. That was great. Anyway, I've been asked many times since I've been here this morning, why am I here? I'm here to pay tribute to my little brother who was just awesome. And his legacy and his talent will live on and on and on and on and on forever and ever. I'm glad to see all of you out here, and he deserves your presence. When I had you here, I treated you bad. I won't even sing that because Michael. I think the best version of that song that I ever heard in my life was Michael and the Jackson 5. I know that when I do my live concerts, we sing that song many nights, and especially young people, they come up to me and say, well, why are you singing Michael Jackson's song? So I guess I have to give him that one because it was absolutely awesome, and I never understood how because he was a kid when he actually sang that. I never understood how a kid his age could feel that song talking about what it's talking about the way he did. But he did, and I loved him very much, and I miss him. I've been watching talent since I can remember. And I think overall, I have never ever in my life before, or I doubt if I will ever see it again, a man as talented as Michael Jackson. We miss him and we love him so much, and I am very, 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 very proud and very privileged and very happy to be here today to pay tribute to him. God bless you, Michael. I know you're in a great place. Thank you.
Smokey Robinson, everybody. Well, thank you, sir. What can you say about this next guy that has not been said before? He's one of the world's greatest musical treasures and a music ambassador to the world. He's a record producer, conductor, musical arranger, film composer, television producer, and trumpeter. His career spans 5 decades in the entertainment industry and a record 79 Grammy Award nominations and 27 Grammy wins, including a Grammy Legend Award in 1991. He's particularly recognized as the producer of the album Thriller. You know what? He's already here. More than 110 million copies sold. The master, Quincy Jones.
Billy B from Beijing.
Remember Beijing? We had a good run in Beijing.
China now, give me a break. CSCND, thank you so much. What an honor. I don't think I've ever been up this early because it's usually the time I go to bed. And I brought a few notes because if I didn't, the beautiful memories would be 6 weeks long. And before I get on with my praise to this legacy, one of the world's greatest entertainers, everybody said that. My baby brother too, Michael Jackson. And I'd like to clarify with his mother today something we've talked about for years, Michael and I did. Michael's nickname was Smelly, but it's not what it sounds like at all. Michael wouldn't say funky, wouldn't say the words like that, so he said smelly jelly all the time, and so that was his nickname. I'm sorry, Catherine, it was misunderstood. Anyway, Michael and my relationship was cemented in the work that we did in the 80s in the recording studio, but it was born on a movie set in 1978. and the late, great director, Sidney Lumet, pulled me kicking and screaming, and I was so busy during that time, doing the music for The Wiz. Remember that? And I was resisting it, but Sidney said the magic words, "You owe me." And he was right, because I was just getting into the composing business then, and there were not many black composers doing movies, and the first one was a pawnbroker. So he said, you owe me, and it was true. And I'm glad he did. So as a scarecrow, Michael dove into this film like it was 16 people. I've never seen anything like it. And with everything he had, learning not only his lines, but everybody's steps, the dialogue, the songs, everything. And prior to filming, Michael and I were working at home, and he said, could I help him to find a producer to do his solo album on Epic? That time, Michael only had one song in The Wiz. He's on Down the Road with Diana. So I said, Michael, I didn't call him Smelly then. You don't have a song in this picture. You know, I'm not going to be happy until you get a song in it. So finally, they wrote "You Can't Win," get it in the picture. Remember that with the girls? And at the rehearsals with the cast, we were up in Brooklyn one day with Sidney and the principals, and Michael was pulling the proverbs out of his chest, the stuffing, and he'd say Socrates, Confucius, da 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 da. And one time he pulled one out, and he said, "Socrates." I said, "What's that?" He said it for 3 days, Socrates, and then finally, I didn't want him to get into that exercise of human nature to keep saying that, so nobody else would correct us. I just said, "Michael, it's Socrates." And he looked at me with a look. That was a magic moment when we really connected. He said, "Really?" Like a deer in the headlight. And it just, every cell in my body just stopped right there. And that was the moment when we bonded. And I said, "Michael, I'd like to take a shot at producing your album." And in that wonderment that I saw in his eyes, that locked me up, and I knew that we could go into completely unexplored territory, a place that as a jazz musician, gave me goosebumps every time he made a tape. And Michael and I, along with the great songwriter Rod Temperton, engineer Bruce Swedien, would go out to make music history with recordings of Off the Wall, Thrill and Bad. But it was a close bond of friendship and love that forged that I will value most from that time. Together we shared on the mic, off the mic in the 80s, achieving heights that I can humbly say may never be reached again, and reshape the music business forever. I promise you, in 50, 75, maybe 100 years, what will be remembered about Michael is his music. It is no accident that almost 3 decades later, no matter where I go in the world, and I travel like a maniac, in every club and karaoke bar in the world, like clockwork, at midnight hour, you hear Billie Jean, Beat It, Want to Be Starting Something, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, Man in the Mirror, Smooth Criminal, and Thriller. Everywhere, from 32 years ago. And it's mind-boggling. He can never go away. That's the legacy. He's got legacies on and on and on at every standpoint, from a dancer, a singer, composer, everything. And like everyone in the world, I was devastated with the news that Michael Jackson has suddenly left the room. But he never leaves the room. This blessed artist, who commanded the stage with the grace of an antelope, shattered the recording industry and broke down cultural boundaries around the world, and yet remained the gentlest and complex of souls. Michael was a different kind of a human being and an entertainer. A man-child in many ways who's beyond professional and dedicated soul. Evoking Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, Jackie Wilson, Sammy Davis, James Brown, everything. He didn't miss a lick. And he worked for hours perfecting every kick, gesture, and movement so that they came together precisely the way they were intended to. So in closing, it's only fitting that Michael be enshrined here today in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater alongside the great song and dance men that we so admired and drew inspiration from, such as Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire. But Michael is there. And to Catherine, Brent, Barris, Blanket, I know Michael is looking down from heaven at this very moment and grinning like a fox eating sauerkraut. Love you. God bless you, Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, Quincy Jones and Smokey Robinson. Thank you.